Hello guys, I just wanted to make a quick video about something I figured right away after the pre-patch. Actually, in Classic, hunters had a way to farm gold in Maraudon by doing like 10 to 15 minutes runs, killing the goblin boss, the crocodile, and the princess. Now, if you look up on YouTube to see how this was made, the hunters actually had to kite most of the bosses, especially the princess, and the princess kill could take a lot of time. With the pre-patch, we have the Beastmastery spec, which has been reworked, and also most of the hunters have bit better gear. So I figured that I want to try to do this same farming method, but quicker, and how it works, and it works nicely. So I wanted to make this video how you can make some golds before TBC with your hunter if you have medium to high-end gear with the Beastmastery spec. So about the spec, it's just Beastmastery spec. Some talents here will be very useful, like pathfinding, so you can run through Maraudon faster. It's 8% more speed with cheetah, and also the animal handler, so you can actually run your mount faster to reach Maraudon faster after you sell all your stuff. Otherwise, it just DPS Beastmastery spec, all the DPS talents are picked, and in the marksmanship I just went for the crit and mana reduction. I didn't bother to actually get aim shot. You don't need aim shot. What you want to do as a hunter is to be AFK, mostly on farming, so who will ain't nobody got time to press the aim shot. And yeah, so what you need to do is to get someone in your party. It can be your own character, and you just need to relog. It can be a second account, like it's the case for me. I have a secondary account that is just doing auction house stuff in the middle of my runs, and I'm gonna use this character to reset the instance once I'm done. It can be a friend, and you need, of course, the scepter to access the second level of Maraudon, and you need some food. You can have some mage food. I prefer to just go and buy some from the Urgent Down vendor. You need your Heston, of course, your mount, and some pet food. And that's it. And arrows, of course. Otherwise, just free your bag space to have the free space for loot. And I'm gonna show you how it's done. So we use the portal, we get into Maraudon, and right away we just start with aspect of the cheetah, and we auto run. After a few rounds, after like 20 or 30 rounds, you get used to it. You don't have to look really, you just know when to turn, and you can just do other stuff while farming, like watching videos or doing auction house on the second account. I don't know, working, making phone calls. It doesn't really need to be, it's not a hard one, it's not hard like mage farming, where you have to pull and AoE stuff. It's really straightforward, no-brainer for hunters, pretty fast. I'm gonna also put on a timer, so you can see how fast it goes. So I start now, I'm gonna add up like 25 seconds to the timer to have the exact time. So yeah, 38% aspect of the cheetah. Speed is quite cool, actually. So the first boss that hunters usually were not doing is the landslide. Usually hunters were skipping this boss because you cannot really kite it. It resets. Yeah, it just took a lot of time. It wasn't worth the time to kill it. But with that DPS, you actually can kill it. So we're gonna start with him. We summon the pets, we pull the pet on the boss, make sure you have growl up, so you have aggro, and we start to DPS the boss. If we over aggro, we can just feign death, put some dots, heal the pet. Also, a big change is that now when you mend pet, it's hot on your pet, you don't have to channel the spell, which just makes you able to heal the pet while doing damage, which is awesome. Yeah, feign death right now. Some multi-shots. And the boss is almost dead at this point. Alright, we loot the boss, we see what he's dropping, yeah, some blue hands, and we put on aspect and keep going. I put my pet on stay, so the pet despawns after I go too far. I do this to save the time to not dismiss the pet. You see, the pet despawns, so it's faster this way than to dismiss the pet. Also, when you dismiss the pet, you reduce the happiness, and you will have to feed it more. About pets, you can take whatever pet you want to take. I suggest a pet that has some damaging abilities, so not a tanky. You don't need to have a tanky pet. Whatever pet will do the trick. Except I think the Wind Serpent, because the Wind Serpent has the Lightning Breath ability, which is nature damage, and Princess is actually immune to nature damage. So just whatever pet you want, except those that has nature damage. So cats, owls, ravagers, if you have them. And so we're going to the princess now. We are not going to kite her, as hunters did before. We are just actually going to zerg it. You might notice that I didn't pop my bestial rats on landslide. That's because I want to use it on princess. She still has a lot of health, 20k, so this might take some time to kill, and I prefer to have this damage increase bonus on this fight. Also, princess hits hard. She might be able to kill the pet at some point if you don't watch closely the fight. So yeah, she kinda need to die fast. I think you can do this with lower gear. You don't need to have full tier 3. You can do it with tier 2, I guess. The most important thing here is the spec, not really the gear. And this is done, so let's loot her. Yeah, let's go. In terms of items, the best items you can get is actually the hammer from Landslide. It's worth almost 4 golds, and it has the highest chance to drop. Last time I did a full bag run, I had 4 hammers, so that's 16 golds, not bad. You also need to not take damage on Princess, because here we're gonna fall here. If you want to pop a Noggenforger elixir to have slow fall, you can, but I just don't bother. So you need health to survive this jump, so try not to take damage on the princess fight. We actually don't have to eat, you can survive the next fight without eating. And we are on the goblin boss. So let's summon the pet, let's pull the pet on, some Viper Sting, let him get some aggro, and we burst. Now you're going to have like 130 damage every few seconds from the bomb. You should be able to survive. If not, just eat something right before the fight to regain, or eventually just bring some bandages. It's up to you. I just survived this fight pretty easily, so no problem. And the goblin is dead. And the best item you can get from this goblin is actually this rifle. So let's get the gold. Let's put the pet on stay, so he gets dispounded. You don't want the pet to follow you here, because he will pull those worms. You don't want to pull only trash packs. So here we go. And we have one boss remaining to kill. And we are at 5 minutes. I did a macro to target, to see where he is. But if you do the timer properly, he should be here, which is amazing for us. We don't have to look for him too much. I'm gonna summon the pet, I'm gonna heal him and pull the boss. Do some Viper Sting before I get in position. You don't want to, you have to watch out the positioning here. You don't want to multi-shot and trash mob. It will clearly make you potentially die, so yeah, watch out. And you just burst the boss. I didn't use my rat on the goblin boss. I save it for Rod Grip because he actually hits hard, very hard, so I want to have the cooldown for him. And the boss is dead. You can now loot the boss. The best thing that can drop from him actually here is the axe. It's also worth like 4 golds. And it's 6 minutes and 15 seconds. I think that you can optimize your run to get 6 minutes, under 6 minutes. And we just log out and we're gonna reset the instance with my other tune. So yeah, reset, login. Resetting the instance will make you go back to the start of the zone. You put the pet on stay and you put on Aspect of the Cheetah and you start again. Try to get under 6 minutes. By the time you reach Princess, you should have full health and full mana from just the Spirit Regen. If you don't, just eat something right before the big jump. You have to be full HP. And yeah, that's it. You run this instance. The best case scenario on this instance is to have like the hammer from Landslide, the weapon from Princess, the axe from the alligator, and the rifle from the goblin. Those items together should be worth about 16 or 20 golds for 5 minutes of run. Now, you're not gonna get as lucky every time. It's impossible to have like 16 golds every 5 minutes because you don't, have drops. But they drop very often. I think an average, if I have to take an average, it should be around 10 golds per run, maybe 12 golds per run. So it's 10 golds every 6 minutes on Hunter. I'm gonna do this for a short amount of time, and I'm gonna fill up my bags. And once I fill them up, I'm gonna show you how much gold you get from selling all the stuff that you just farmed. So see you a bit later when my bags are full for a recap. Okay, so here we are again after a few runs. I filled up my bags with items from the bosses. I got 66 slots total space back, of which I have at least 2, 3 actually, 4, 5 being taken. So that's 66 minus 5, it's 60 items, and with a rate of 4 items per run. Actually, it's more like 4.5 items because sometimes you get a bonus green item. So let's get 61 divided by 4.5. That's going to be around 14, about 14 runs. 14 runs, which means with 6 minutes clear, it's 81 minutes to fill up the bags. So for 81 minutes, I'm gonna sell everything that I have farmed and see how much gold that is. So I have 120 gold right now, 120, and I'm gonna sell everything. So let's go. Okay, so after selling everything, by the way, I sold also, I got the epic dagger, which drops very rarely, but well, I won't use it, so never mind. So I have 245, which is 120 gold, and this means that I am around 100 gold per hour. Yeah, something like that. About 110, 100 gold per hour, because it took me 81 minutes. So yeah, this is maybe not the most effective way of farming gold. I guess mages and paladins have it easier today with boosts. But if you don't have a mage or paladins or any very overpowered profession in terms of gold farming, and you just have your hunter, then I guess it might be a good way to farm gold as a hunter if you have only a hunter to farm with quite a nice gear and you are willing to spec in Beast Mastery for it. Also, I had an idea that crossed my mind as I was recording this video. You could you could wait and get Head of Hakar and Onyxia, and get ported to Darnassus and fly there. You have about 10 minutes of flight, plus let's say 5 minutes of setting up to the entrance of the dungeon. So you have 1 hour and 45 minutes of world buffs, and maybe with world buffs you could go below 5 minutes per run. I think you could. So that would save you 1 minute out of 6, which is quite nice. It's almost 20% faster run time, and this could potentially go to 125, 130 gold per hour. So yeah, good luck farming gold if you like this method. Subscribe to this channel, it's quite new. I am probably gonna put some more videos of stuff for hunters and shamans in TBC. So subscribe to get notified when something new comes up, and yeah, good luck. See you later.